Canadian Mortgage Weekly. It is Thursday, August the 12th, 11:30, like usual. I feel like a newscaster now. But yeah, it's so awesome to have everybody with us this morning for Canadian Mortgage Weekly. We're back with episode 34. And we are joined this morning with Joe Bladek. Joe, you're a mortgage professional in the Barrie Simcoe area, serving all of Ontario. Joe lives up in Aurelia with his family. You've been in the industry for over 10 years, so you're pretty knowledgeable, about trends, and Joe's the man for the COVID uncertainty. Joe's a reliable source. So thanks for being with us this morning, Joe.
Oh, my pleasure, Sam. Great to be here too. Hi, everyone. It's great to be back. I know I was away last week, and Sam did a great job on the episode on how to actually get started in your mortgage application. So if anyone's looking at getting started, make sure you watch that episode. But yes, thank you for the great introduction, and right back at you, Sam. I mean, you've been in the mortgage industry for about a year and a half now, and you've been really doing a great job advising your clients about what's going on in the mortgage market as well. Just to introduce Sam, everyone, Sam moved to Barrie from Ottawa about a year and a half ago now, is married and lives in Barrie. So welcome to the show as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to do today's episode. We have a great topic, episode 35, 34. We're killing these videos. So yeah, if this is your first time joining today's video, if you look back and watch some of our previous videos, we have a lot of really good information from many different stages of the process, refinancing, a lot of really good information. So if this is your first one, feel free to check out our old videos. Or if you have a suggestion or a burning question that you want Joe and I to answer, go ahead and write it in the comment section below or the chat, and we can work towards getting some real tailored content towards you guys.
Yeah, definitely. We love to hear suggestions, as Sam is saying, and if we can get some personal answers or videos on some topics, then all the better. We try to focus on those current topics, as you guys all know, what's happening in interest rates, and yeah, it's been a wild ride in 2021, and you know what, we'll be talking about that on a future episode. But with what's going on, definitely leave us a comment below or send us a private message. I know sometimes it's hard to ask a question live online. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to send us a private message so we can personalize your response for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we want to start it off with some news today. So Joe, you were giving me a bit of an update, and we were chatting this morning about some rate updates.
Yes. Yes. Rate updates. So with mortgage rates, everyone is always asking us, Sam, what's happening with mortgage rates, right? We always go to our, whenever someone realizes that we're in the mortgage industry, they want to know what's happening. So yeah, for all of you that are watching, what are happening with mortgage rates? Well, we do have, we have been seeing the indicator that essentially influences fixed rates in Canada sliding, but then it's within a tight range right now if you were to really look at it. And what that is for a 5-year fixed mortgage, the key indicator for that is the 5-year bond yield. And if you're watching the 5-year bond yield, it had fallen last week, it's back up this week, but it's not going above or below a certain threshold. So from what I've been seeing, from what other economists that are essentially way more experienced than I am are saying, is that the market is in a very tight position where, we are seeing, Sam, people talk about this Delta variant.
That's right.
Yeah, and they're really concerned about it, and they're wondering what's happening. Should this take hold? What's going to be the outlook for the economy over the next few months while that happens? And that has been influencing fixed rates to drop because that will stimulate the economy. So that is the downward pressure. Now, the upward pressure has been that the economy is actually doing really well, and that companies are producing profits, and there's indicators that show that investors are really bullish about the market going forward. And that is pushing the indicators for fixed rates back up. So we have this tightening range, and I think it's really going to happen in the next few weeks. We're going to see one way or the other what's going to happen.
Right. So we
You
should,
know,
take it easy now, but definitely stay tuned and keep updated with where the rate's headed. I mean, again, over this whole COVID, it would be nice to have a crystal ball. But yeah, definitely, we'll keep a pulse on where the rate is at.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
and speaking of rates, we also do release videos every time there's a Bank of Canada interest rate announcement that affects, any variable rates. If you're somebody who has a variable rate mortgage, you're probably checking as well of, what's it currently at? What am I paying? And the next one is going to be September 8th. So definitely stay tuned. We will have a Canadian Mortgage Weekly special on the midweek, Wednesday, September 8th, where we'll look at, where we think it'll be, after the announcement, where it ends up, and how that affects any variable interest rate that you have.
Yes, that will be a really key indicator too. Sam, as we look forward, where this market is headed, and in the next few weeks, we'll have the government chiming in to what they think is happening. So could be a very, very busy fall for real estate if rates do drop. That's for sure. I know that we're seeing a lot of activity now with companies bringing back people to work. We're seeing people now all of a sudden needing to move back to closer to work.
Right. Yeah. We were chatting about that this morning, where you were, if there's an article that you had seen about a couple who had purchased and are required now to move back to Toronto. And again, I know that as vaccines are being, distributed, more people are vaccinated, the economy is restabilizing. We are seeing that a lot of companies and businesses are sort of calling people back into Toronto to work actually in person. So we could see that have an effect on the market as well, with maybe some more availability.
Exactly. Yes. So essentially, the market has been all over the place, all over Ontario. So this may stabilize some regions, or may throw some more of a whirlwind into those regions, right? Some regions that had a price increase because of the demand, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen now with those regions as they have reduced demand, with people moving back to Toronto or closer to. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks, and definitely a very much more interesting few more months as we go into the end of 2021. I know that the first half of 2021 has been such a wild roller coaster for everyone in the real estate industry, mortgage professionals, real estate agents, and lawyers alike. So, but definitely stay tuned to Canadian Mortgage Weekly. Sam and myself will keep you updated. This is the prime Canadian source for your mortgage news on YouTube these days. And as we get into the next part of our presentation, we have a really good topic today that Sam has prepared. It's all about how to win in today's market. And with that, Sam, can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. As the sort of intake officer almost at our office, I deal with a lot of new clients that are reaching out, a lot of new first-time buyers. And, given the rental market and the housing market, it really feels like the general pulse of people who are even, thinking about getting a home, it's just a discouraging conversation. They feel they don't qualify, or it's not necessarily worth it to jump in. But we've actually seen some indicators that now is actually a great time to get in. There's lots of programs available, some ways that you can actually qualify for more. You can boost your max purchase price. So today we're going to be chatting about the ways that you can win in today's market, especially currently. We've been seeing some shifts in the market before fall gets too busy. So without giving everything away, I will hop into the presentation and we can go ahead and get started and cover off this really, exciting topic.
Yeah, that's really good, because it's interesting to note that you're saying that now is a good time to get in, because we have seen a little bit of a slowdown right now.
Yeah.
And, without giving everything away, definitely let's get into it.
Alrighty, so how to win in today's market. If you want to be that super happy family in the picture, keep watching today's video. But again, as we've been talking about market overview, it's definitely been a seller's market. There hasn't been, booming inventory. There hasn't been houses, sitting on the market forever. And as I was saying, a lot of prospective home buyers, a lot of people that I've been chatting with, and I'm sure, Joe, it's the same for you, they do have sort of a cloud of discouragement where they don't really know where to go from here, and they don't think that there's really a way that they can get in the market themselves. But we have been seeing trends that the market has been slowing. We're seeing, condition on financing is back on the table for a lot of offers, even inspection conditions, which that was unheard of in the spring. The houses are on the market longer. So really, it's actually a super advisable time to get in, while the market's in the position it is today.
It definitely is. Yeah. With the fact that houses are on the market for longer and that conditions are being made on offers, it really makes our job a lot easier with being able to seek out the best, most appropriate lender, with giving you the time and us the time to completely shop your file too. So just having that extra time really makes the whole process smoother and puts it more in your favor too.
Absolutely. I know that a lot of people actually, were maybe discouraged or stayed out of the market because they weren't able to have an offer accepted with an inspection condition, or, they didn't want to make that jump in, with a firm offer, no condition on financing. So that does definitely open up the market to, people who are maybe waiting out for the last little bit because they didn't want to go in blind with no inspection. So those are really some key points into the shift in the market. But chatting about how you can win, speed is going to be your best friend while the market is slow. I think every source we've seen so far, Joe, is saying that fall is meant to be a very busy season for real estate. So jumping on the wagon now before it gets, too much steam is really going to be a huge benefit.
Yes, it really is. Just getting started right now and getting everything in order before these economic gurus that we've been listening to are saying that September and October are going to be a busy year for real estate. It's going to get you ahead of the pack.
Yeah.
Just knowing that everything is ready to go, so you can get into that market. You have your essentially your pre-approval set with your mortgage professional, and that will give you the idea of what you qualify for. So if you see that home that comes up for sale, you know that you can afford it, and you can confidently call your real estate agent, say, you know what, I can search up to this, or I can buy this home. I'm pre-approved for it. Sam, that's a big deal.
It's huge, and it helps the conversation and the houses that you see with your realtor, become more accurate. Really just having that whole financing plan together, as soon as you can. I know a lot of people also that I chat with that are very new, they're very green. They honestly don't even know a question to ask because they don't know the process. But sometimes that can be discouraging, and it keeps them, waiting on the sidelines. But the faster that you can reach out, chat with a mortgage professional, so that, Joe, myself, or Terry Lynn, we can run the numbers for you. We can get you pre-approved, so that, you have a plan in place and we can get you into your home.
Yes. And with that plan in place, sometimes it can include something like talking with a family member to get them involved with your process, simply because we may need them to be a temporary co-signer on your mortgage. And with that, it doesn't cost anything to add a co-signer to your mortgage. It's free, and it actually enables you to get a larger mortgage, sometimes at a lower interest rate, essentially reducing those payments. And it allows you to get into the market now rather than waiting a year or two, sometimes longer, if the market just keeps going at the same pace it's been at now. So, Sam, temporary co-signers have been a big like trend in 2020, 2021.
It's been a huge trend, and that's where, yeah, of course, as long as you can at least start the conversation before, we get started. If you're thinking maybe I don't have enough income to qualify, just having that on the back of your mind can be helpful, rather than finding out you can't really compete in the market and then having to go back to family. It's a great conversation to start. Another way to win is by setting up your home buying team. So if you watched, we're on episode 34. So episode 32, we did an entire Canadian Mortgage Weekly episode on all of the people that you're going to meet, you're going to chat with, you're going to need for your home purchase. So that's a huge, huge plus when you're working to get into the market and get in, stress-free, smooth. Starting with, again, a mortgage professional or agent, we can get you pre-approved so you know what you qualify for. And we can, work at some strategies for, what's the best mortgage option for you. And, if you're reaching out even outside of Barrie, we have a lot of realtor connections that we can set up and refer you to so that you have a local agent to work with.
Yes, local agents are really important. Having someone, if you're from, say, London, Ontario, working with a real estate agent right in London, Ontario, so they can find you those homes in that neighborhood that you're specifically looking for. That agent will know, Old South neighborhood or Westmount neighborhood. Or if you're looking in Barrie, right, there's local agents we know and trust that we've seen do great job for our clients, that we can refer to you if you want to live in Allendale or the north end of Barrie. So whatever you need, that way we can get yourself set up with a buyer's agent. And also another reason why it's a good idea to get set up with a buyer's agent is that the buyer's agent has your best interests as a number one priority. It's their fiduciary responsibility to do that. And then if you work with a seller agent that is listing the property, at the end of the day, even though their I guess loyalty is split 50-50, at the end of the day, they do still have to side with the seller on the last possible item, because they are ultimately representing the seller. So when you're using a seller's realtor, you may think you're saving money, but you're also dealing with the other party's lawyer, so to speak. Right? So it's hard to sometimes get the best deal that way.
That's right. Yeah. Real estate buyer's agent is going to be huge, as well as having a home inspector as well. Now that we're seeing that these conditions are, being accepted with a home inspection, it's good to have somebody that you trust, somebody that's available within the window that we need the inspection to be done. You don't want to have the inspection after the close date when it's too late to notice things. So especially when a lot of industries are they're either busy, they're maybe less available, making sure that you get connected with a home inspector so that you go into the sale with your eyes wide open. And again, if it is conditional on inspections, if you notice that there's way too many issues that you don't want to deal with, you have that option to get out.
Exactly. Great point. And then obviously we need to get a real estate lawyer also set up for you. They are going to tie everything together for you at the end and take all the money that they need from you to finalize your closing. And when I say that, they actually take your down payment and closing costs and settle out the closing for you. They prepare all the documents for you, get you guys to sign it all for the title transfer and register your mortgage properly, so you're all set and have full ownership of that home that you're buying. Yeah.
And we've noticed that real estate lawyers can be quite busy, during this season, especially closer to the end of the month. So by putting those feelers out, finding, a brokerage or a law firm that is going to work within your timeline and get that all prepped. All of these things that we've just listed, it's going to save you time and stress if you have these connections before the sale date of your home. It's already stressful enough from when your offer is accepted to closing. So if you've already got these connections and it's just a matter of booking them in and scheduling it all. It'll save you a lot of stress in the process rather than, trying to find everybody in the 11th hour.
Yes, great point, Sam. Yes, lawyers have been busy. So do reach out early. And if you don't have any connections, you can reach out to us as well. And we have some lawyers that we have worked with and trust over years of experience as well.
Mm-hmm. And we chatted a bit earlier this morning in today's video about rates. And this is going to be a huge key of how you can win, is just by locking in with the rates that we're seeing today. I mean, even looking back to spring of 2020, the rates are super low. So you're going to end up saving so much money, over the life of your mortgage. And as we were chatting, there's sort of a tightness in the rates where, there's factors either way that are pushing it up and down. But as Joe was saying, eventually, as we get further into the fall market, we're likely going to see, one side or the other win, and the rates may not stay this low. So it's another, incentive to get at least a pre-approval in for your rate hold, and jump in on the market while the rates are this low.
Yes. And if you are able to do that, with right now, first-time home buyers, when they're getting into the market right now, historically, even when I bought a home for the first time, I remember seeing my amortization schedule and seeing my first years of payments were mostly going to interest, and very, very small amount of principal for the first number of years. But now with rates being as low as they are, we're seeing over 50% of your first payment going to the principal, and then it just keeps increasing from there. So you're actually paying down the mortgage quite considerably faster than we were just 3 or 4, even 10 or 11 years ago. So it's a good time to get in on that. And because of that, you're paying less interest, you're paying the loan off faster, and you're also just gaining equity at additional speed for that reason.
Exactly. And I think this is really important to note, because a lot of people don't think about the interest rate as much over the life of the mortgage, when, right in their face, they're seeing that the house price is maybe higher than it would have been earlier in the year or higher than it should have been last year. But these high prices are also paired with paying it off faster, starting with over 50% going on the principal. So it's definitely a really important and key point of, how today's rates are actually really a huge win, even if you just get your foot in the door, and get into the market while we have these super low rates. That's a huge win because you're saving so much money on interest for your mortgage.
Yes, absolutely. Can't really add much more to that, Sam. That's a really good way to explain all that. I mean, just back on the paying it down faster, you're just saving so much money. And then just not having to pay rent anymore. Think about the amount that the wasted opportunity there each month, that money going out the window. Just being able to have a mortgage and to be paying off that equity pretty quickly, it's going to put you in a very good situation.
Absolutely. And moving on to how you can qualify for more, we chatted a bit about a temporary cosigner. So as Joe was saying, this has been a huge trend, but again, it doesn't cost you anything extra to add somebody onto, as a cosigner, and we can register it so that it's not a 50-50 split of the title where, all of your first-time buyer incentives and rebates are getting cut in half. They can be put and registered on only 1% of title, leaving you and, your spouse, your co-applicant, as the primary mortgage holders. So even if it's somebody that's on a fixed income, this can really heavily, we've seen it work out a lot of times, that adding a cosigner, takes them from kind of a level of a price point that they're disappointed with to one they didn't even think they'd be able to qualify for. So it's definitely a way to qualify for more, a way to give yourself an advantage in today's market.
Yes, it really is. That's a great way to get into that. And say if that's not possible for you, say you don't have family in your life, there are other ways. And another good way listed here is purchase a duplex. And by having a property with 2 separate units, you can actually add the income from that second unit to your own income that you use to qualify for that mortgage. So will increase that mortgage for you. And you can then turn around when you're living in that home to take that additional cash flow and put it towards the mortgage payments, essentially helping you live there cheaply as well.
This is definitely something we've also seen a trend, even in, if you don't have a cosigner per se, but you have a family member who is also looking to purchase, and you're both finding it a hard time. We've seen a few files now where family members have purchased a duplex and they've just split the home, where one gets one unit and the other applicant pair gets the other unit, and that way they're able to get into the market. So this is just an alternative way that you can get in. It can increase your income, and you don't have to register anyone else on title. You can just keep the renters that are already there, and it'll soften your mortgage payments for sure.
Yeah, definitely a good way to get in the market. It also it just helps out overall too. If you're having those renters as well, you will have tax deductions too. You can talk to your tax accountant about. I'm just thinking about that right now. That would be an additional feature that's not listed here, but definitely that's not an area of specialty for us. So definitely talk to your accountant about that.
Absolutely. And looking into all of the grants, incentives, and rebates that are available, these are all huge ways that you can get money back in the process. A lot of them are available if you're a first-time buyer. So again, if you've been sitting on the sidelines, thinking that today's market is just out of reach, well, there's a lot of incentives that are working for you and working towards your home ownership goals. So firstly, just looking at the first-time buyer incentive. So this is a shared equity loan where it actually adds 5 or 10% towards your down payment, which allows you to save on insurance premiums. So I know that the first-time buyer incentive gives an example application, and it works out that it could save approximately $1,500 per year, which I know, when we do our webinars, that money can go to your hot tub if you're, wanting to put in a hot tub.
Definitely.
Any of those extra things. That was another previous video we did where the new trend is going to be pools. If work from home is as stable as it has been, you want to build up your home living space, or that money can just get put directly back on the mortgage in a lump sum payment.
Yeah, that's a great little illustration. It's good to be able to save money, especially with this incentive, and helps you get in the market. If that's not for you, though, there is another really awesome program available through some municipal loan programs that are specific to the area that they're in. So for example, in Barrie, Aurelia, Midlands, Washago, Bradford, we have the Simcoe County Down Payment Assistance Program. And it's essentially a zero interest assistance loan to fund your down payment to get you into your home. They have a lot of qualifications to get into this program. You can't make more than a certain amount of money. You have to currently be renting. I know, Sam, you've talked to people that live in their parents' basement. That doesn't quite qualify, but if you live in the home for 20 years or more, then that money that you actually receive from the municipality gets forgiven and is yours 100%. So it's a great way to get in the market if you have good credit and can work within the confines of the program. I know, Sam, there's other areas that do the program, like Essex County and Leeds and Granville. You've just did a first-time buyer webinar there, so they can contact us for those items as well.
Absolutely, yeah. There's tons of municipalities that offer this, or similar structured loan, whether it's 5%, some of them are 10%. But definitely, especially if it's, maybe your forever home or you're not fond of moving anyways, that forgivable aspect of the loan is incredible. Another way to win, if you're having struggles to come up with a down payment, your savings aren't quite adding up to what you need, but you do have money socked away in your RRSP that, maybe you opened it at the end of high school and college, and it's been growing. Even if it's one where your employer is sort of matching contributions, a lot of the times those RSPs are included as well, or you can withdraw those funds for your down payment in through the home buyers plan. So you can withdraw that completely tax-free. A lot of people, typically in RSP, you just don't touch the money because you don't want to pay the taxes on it. But through this program, you can access those funds. And we've seen numerous people, take this method to help cover closing costs or to cover the down payment.
Yes, a great plan. It's been around for years, and definitely look into that. And if that plan doesn't work for you, then there is also another plan where if you are qualifying for a mortgage and everything is good that way, but simply are just short on closing costs, there are lenders that do offer a cashback amount, whether it's $1,000 or $5,000 or up, 10,000 plus we can get for you. It all depends on your mortgage amount, but definitely talk to us because we can set you up with some closing costs cashback to cover your closing costs. And if you need that money for things like appliances or even paying down debt, that money can be used for that. And some lenders refer to this mortgage as a good smart start mortgage for first-time home buyers for this reason. And Sam, we've had clients take advantage of this mortgage before, and it's really put a dent in their closing costs.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so helpful, especially, when you pair that as a first-time buyer, you have your land transfer tax rebate. So that paired with cash back, you could end up having your closing costs covered by the incentive and have some extra cash left over, like you're saying, for maybe an additional appliance. So there's lots of programs, and although we don't have time for today's video, but there are a ton more incentives that are available to you, some grants, income tax credits that are available. So if you are a first-time buyer and weren't aware of these ones on the screen, or that there's even more, definitely reach out, and we would love to go through all of those options and incentives that are available to you. And just to wrap up, we've covered off a lot of information this morning, but you can see throughout the video, there's a lot of ways that today's market, there's a lot of wins for you. There's a lot of ways that you can, get some money back. You can help qualify for more. But just looking at some key points. So we're seeing the market is slow now, and now is a really good time to jump in, to start your conversation with, a broker for your mortgage, because you want to jump on it before the fall gets too busy, and then it just becomes a bit of a pain to try and get in the market when it's that extreme. So speed is definitely key at this point.
Yes, and then with getting prepared and having everything ready, so you're ready to go. And when speed is key, you have everything set. We'll make sure that you have a proper home buying team set in place if you don't have one yet. And that includes your mortgage professional and your buyer's real estate agent, a home inspector that we can connect you with or your agent can connect you with, and also a real estate lawyer that can tie everything together for you and make sure that everything will work out just fine and settle all the amounts for you. And they're actually the ones that will communicate with the sellers to make sure that the title is transferred correctly and make sure that there are no liens or the property is being transferred to you in perfect shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at adding a cosigner or a duplex if you're looking to qualify for more. There's also a lot of, as we had just mentioned, a lot of grants, incentives, rebates that are available if you're a first-time buyer. But probably the biggest thing, Joe, and you'll agree, is getting pre-approved. It's going to help the whole process, give you a starting point, help you look at properties that are accurate to your price range. And chatting with us as a first step is going to be great so that you understand what you need, what you qualify for, and we can really get you a great head start in the market.
Yes, absolutely. And with talking to us, we can also take advantage of all the grants, credits, rebates, making sure that we get all those set up for you, making sure that you qualify for those items, go through them. I know, Sam, you do this for our clients as well. You help connect them to the programs that are available, whether it is the RSP home buyers plan that you mentioned, or the first time buyer incentive, where it provides 5 to 10% extra down on your mortgage. Like, that is amazing.
There's a lot of programs out there, and if we missed anything, or if you still have questions of how you can get in the market, for sure give us a call at the number on the screen there, or even email us at joe@joebladek.com. We'd love to start the conversation, get you working towards your pre-approval, get you connected to a local realtor once you're pre-approved, and really work with you to achieve your home ownership dreams. Yeah, I know that was a lot of information, but there is definitely a lot of ways where you can still come out on top in today's market.
You really can. And thank you, Sam, for sharing all that information. It was a really informative presentation. And as you all have been watching, if you have any questions, as Sam's saying, that are more personal in nature, send us a private message on social media or email. We can definitely look at your financial situation in detail and help you with your financing advice. But if you are also watching right now and have a question you would like to ask live, do enter it in the chat below. We'll be here just for another minute max to see if there's any questions and answer them live. And in that, there's never any stupid questions. All questions are accepted. But while we wait for any questions to pop up, I wanted to introduce next week's episode. It's a big milestone for Sam and I. We're going to be hitting our 35th episode of the year. And we're really excited to be doing that, broadcasting from Simcoe County every week here. And for that, we're going to be doing a special live on scene Canadian Mortgage Weekly Live next week, providing the weather holds up. Are you excited about that, Sam?
Yeah, it'll be awesome to get out, to be out of the office for a bit, get to spend some time in the great outdoors. And yeah, I believe that we're going to be having a promo running for next week, right, Joe?
We are. So just to let everyone know, we're going to be located down at the waterfront in Barrie, Ontario on Thursday at 11:30. We'll be doing our 2021 review up until this point. We'll be just chatting about how the year has been and going through some of the milestones that we've seen, Sam and I and Terry Lynn, through this last first 6 months of the year. But while we're filming our episode, if you want to come down and say, hey, my name is Joe Bladek on Canadian Mortgage Weekly, while we're filming live, you will receive a $100 gift card to HomeSense or Canadian Tire, which can help you with your outfitting your home with kitchen appliances or decor for your home. And I have to also add that friends of ours and family of ours is not allowed to enter, unfortunately. So if you want to come down next week, we'll be weather providing at the Barrie waterfront, and just get in the shot behind us. You'll see us. Sam and I will be there if it's not raining, and you'll receive a $100 gift card after the show is finished live. We'll present it to you right then and there. We'll be there from 11:30 until 12 p.m. on Thursday. And if it is raining on Thursday the 19th, then we'll have to rain date it for the next week after that. Right. So just keep that in mind. We'll try to keep you all posted on Facebook. Awesome. So is there any questions that we have today?
Not at the moment.
That's great. So if anyone has a question, send us a private message. And thanks, Sam, for that great presentation today.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys all next week for our live episode from the waterfront in Barrie, Ontario. We'll make sure that we announce the contest closer to, so you guys can all get a reminder about it again. And have a great day, everyone.